and welcome to Safety and Retirement. I'm your host, 𝗃𝗂𝗵𝗃, with my guest today, Len Strickler of LS Financial Group. Welcome back to the show, Len. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thanks, Paul.
Looking good, looking
Glad
fit.
to be back.
How you feeling?
Feeling good, good, ready to go.
You ready?
All right.
You rearing?
Yeah.
I'm going to change some lives today.
There you go. All right, I love that.
You love that idea?
Yeah, I do.
I knew you would. Something told me I knew you would. Before we get going, I want to talk a little bit about, how you came to the business. What motivated you?
Well, in 2008 was the year that I refocused myself and refocused the business. There were two things that happened to me in that time frame.
Yeah.
2008, I had just come back from doing a turnaround company, a software company in Silicon Valley.
Okay.
Did very well. We took the stock from $1.18 to $18.
Wow.
I was one of the senior executives, and so I had a nice windfall. So I took that windfall and I went to Florida.
Hey.
Down into Naples area.
Nice.
And me and a partner, we put some monies into some real estate, most of them right on the beach, most of them $1.8 million to $2.5 million.
Wow.
Nice properties. We were at one time getting $3,000 a week.
Wow.
For these. I mean, it was going great.
Great return, right?
Oh, yeah, great. And of course, all of a sudden,
dun, dun, dun. Cue the music.
That curveball comes.
Oh, boy.
And, look, life happens.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nobody could, nobody could. I had attorneys say, Len, look, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He said, we've got big developers. You would know their names that are done.
Yeah.
Some names we would know that, Len, don't worry about it. You're just restructuring your debt. Of course, is that what they call this?
I'm restructuring my debt. Right now, it feels like I'm going over a lynch.
You got it.
That's how it really feels. I got caught up in the real estate mess myself.
So that changed me to where I said, you know what? I'm going to refocus my business to where I'm going to help folks, particularly where I was in pre-retirement, retirement, that they will not lose their money. They're going to be able to get out of that Wall Street casino. They're going to be able to have some curveballs that may come, and they will.
Yeah.
But that they're going to be safe, okay? They'll never look at Len and say, Len, you've lost my principal. Because I have a principal protection plan that they will never lose their principal. So that was the one thing, Paul, that I'm passionate about. The second one was the old left hook came out of nowhere. And my sweetheart of 45 years, we were married 45 years, came down with frontal temporal dementia. It's a form of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. And she was gone within 6 years, 7 years. I had to put her in a lockdown facility with skilled nursing. And that one facility was $9,600 a month.
Wow.
Not to mention all the other costs. One drug was, I think, $800 or $900 a month. I mean, it is brutal.
Oh, my gosh.
So that's really what got me going and makes me passionate about this business that I'm in. That's why my number one thing, my partner and I, look, we do beautiful plans. We'll help you. We'll help you look at inflation, taxes, longevity, all of it. The number one thing that we're going to always help you with first, we're passionate about, I preach it, that we're going to get you safe first. We're going to get a portion of your money. Doesn't have to be all your money. If you're 60, what we teach is get at least 60% of that into a safe place where you can never lose your principal.
Okay.
That's what we preach. Now, the rest of it, hey, you can go play. We can put in other places you like. We can help you do that as well. Our CPA that's on board with us and a co-founder of our company, she is a registered investment advisor, so we got places we can help you play.
Right.
But we want you safe first.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's interesting. You talked about your dealings in the real estate world. Boy, you were able to learn firsthand the power of diversification, huh?
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. So you took that upon yourself, and here you are.
Yeah.
You're out helping people spread out the risk, right?
Yeah.
Help keeping them safe. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a concept we talk about, phases in retirement. Would you share with the viewers a little bit about the structure of how that's laid out and what they should be planning for?
Yeah, when I do my teaching, I'll use another analogy. You know me, I always have a story.
I love it.
But if you were, I asked the group, if you're going to climb Mount Everest, right, what would be the goal? The goal would be, most people say, get to the top safely.
That's the goal.
That's a good goal. That's a goal.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Don't you think we might ought to add in there getting down the mountain safely?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you said it.
So going up the mountain is called the accumulation phase. Okay, that's where you're accumulating and where you are concerned, typically younger. You're building your, your nest egg, and returns matter. You want to get good rates of return. But as soon as you get to the top of that mountain, Paul, the game changes.
Completely.
Big time.
Yeah.
Now you've got to start coming down the mountain. Now you've got to, it's called the distribution phase. How are we going to take distributions now? Right? Now all of a sudden those other risks we talked about earlier are going to come into play. Right? We got to worry about inflation risk. We got to worry about that avalanche that may hit. We got to worry about that storm that comes on the back end of that mountain. Right? It could be in any of those risks we talked about. So we've got to get you down the mountain safely. So that's what we help you do. Most of the work that my partner Art and I do with our folks that come in to see us is really pre-retirement, retirement is getting you down that mountain safely.
Gotcha.
Because you pretty much have accumulated. Most folks that come see us, they have 250, they got a retirement, they've got, a 401k, they have something.
Right, some form of pension.
Some form of pension or something. Right. And so our job now is to preserve, obviously you cannot lose. Right. And then to make sure you're safe getting back down the mountain.
Because the fact of the matter is they exchange their time, those 30 years of working, for that nest egg. And so your thing is all about, hey, we got to keep it safe now. Right. Because you've invested a lot of time.
Absolutely. And you don't have time to lose, okay?
Right.
It'll take you 7 to 10 years just to get back even. If you can even get back even. Because remember, if you're in retirement, you've been taking money out.
Right.
And you're getting losses. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's ugly.
Boy, you ain't kidding. So basically you're taking a distribution to live, which is depleting some of that nest egg.
Correct.
And then any market losses at that point are basically magnified.
Magnifying. Really? And in addition to that, think of this, Paul. Now, if you're in the market, you've got fees.
Oh, yes.
You've got your broker fees, okay?
Yes.
Usually 1.3, 1.5. Then you got the mutual fund fee. We had a guy the other day, his up to 4% fees.
What?
And you can't even see, they're in the prospect, they're buried.
Oh,
and they say annuities have fees. Oh,
yeah.
Annuities are bad fee. A fixed index annuity is a no-fee product.
Yeah.
Unless you want a rider of some sort, and we share that with you, and we'll share with you what it costs. But believe me, people are losing money, and those fees will kill you.
Yeah, that's a wonderful point. You got to watch out for hidden fees. Because we're talking about the overall cost to the consumer, right? The overall cost to our client. Listen, I understand today you have a wonderful offer for folks that are viewing.
Right.
Would you mind sharing that with them, Lynn?
Absolutely. Be glad to. One of the things we do, folks, is we're going to help you get down that mountain, as we just talked about. We're going to help you in that distribution phase. We'll put together a plan. We'll do an income analysis for you, make sure you have the income that you need, the floor you need. If you tell me you want $100,000, we take inflation, taxes, et cetera. We'll do a nice Social Security plan for you, let you know when to take it, how to take it. In addition to that, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you one of my books, complimentary. This one here is Don't Worry, Retire Happy. I know you guys know the song that Paul was going to sing for you later on the show. And the other one is Paychecks and Playchecks. And we'll be happy to give you one of those complimentary. Give me a call at 844-299-0355.
I love you, buddy. You crack me up, I'll tell you what. But you know what's interesting about this is the important aspect. It's about your safety. It's about your retirement. All the time you've invested to get to where you are. You may have a question, too. Maybe you think that question is not important, but it could be all the difference into an enjoyable and safe retirement. How do you know if you don't ask it? Right? When was the last time someone's reviewed what you have? How do you know you're on the right track? Boy, it never hurts to get a second opinion. Pick up the phone. The consultation's complimentary. Heck, Lynn's going to throw in a book. I think that's phenomenal. 844-299-0355. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these short messages.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only. To set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have. By running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no-obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Safety in Retirement. I'm your host today, 𝗃𝗂𝗄𝗃, with my buddy, Les Strickler of LS Financial Group, right? CEO, my man. He's in charge. But, you know, I got to ask you this because, you know, I know this is all about service. You're a big believer in serving your clients.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Going to work for them. I know that's important. But, you know, people today, retirement's a little bit different than it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
Right, Lynn?
Absolutely.
I mean, could you share with some folks some of the things that might be different that might want to pay attention to today?
Sure. The old paradigm, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, you know, I think of my my grandmother, right, who raised me. I mean, well, I tell you what, that's my lady. That's my lady.
Your grandma?
Oh yeah, she was awesome, man. She introduced me to literature, to reading.
Really?
She only went to the 6th grade, did 10 vocabulary words every day. The most educated woman I knew.
Really?
Yeah, self-taught.
Wow.
But she was really cool. But she worked at Westinghouse for 42 years, right? And I'd see her get up, man, go to work, and she knew how to accessorize, man. I'll tell you what, she didn't have but 3 or 4 dresses, you know?
Yeah.
She came up during a depression.
Yes.
And, you know, but man, everything was clean. She looked neat. She was a lady.
She had it together.
She had it together and taught me so much. But, you know, what did she get at the end of retirement? Now, she did get a good pension. Back then, in that day, it was pensions, okay?
Right.
And it wasn't bad. A pension was good, and she got her Social Security. So, you know, she could make it, okay?
Yeah.
It wasn't, you know, she wasn't living on...
She didn't live large, right?
Mm-hmm. But at any rate, you know, she probably got a gold watch. Matter of fact, I think they did give her a watch and a potluck, and she probably brought half the potluck in because she was a great cook. But anyway, you know, that was kind of the old paradigm, you know. And then back around, I guess, 1978 or so, all of a sudden, we had these things called 401ks.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, the employers are kind of, you know, they're backing out of this thing. And now we have to become responsible for our own finances.
Gosh, what a wonderful point that you're making right now. And let's talk about this for a little bit because you're right.
Sure.
You know, it used to be the companies took care of us, but now the onus is put on us to be in charge of our own pensions.
That's exactly right.
Sorry about that, Lynn. I just had to really stress that.
That's really true. And unfortunately, when you think about it,
yeah,
most folks, they're not financial folks.
Right.
They don't understand this.
Time, too.
Yeah.
Who's got the time?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a good point. You got kids you're raising, you know you're trying to get there.
Yeah.
And they don't have the time. That's why, of course, they need a financial advisor. They need somebody to help them and guide them that they trust.
A partner.
Yeah, a partner. But, you know, so that was kind of the old paradigm. The new paradigm now, again, is, you know, this whole thing of 401ks, 401bs, understanding them. You know, they don't even, the employers, the HR departments, Paul, they don't even help them. I mean, seriously, they throw a bunch of smorgasbord of products out there, and and the poor client or employee doesn't even know what to do.
What the heck? They give them prospectuses and a couple of different things, and they send them on their way, right?
Yeah, it's really a shame. But that's where we come in. Right. The good news is that there are folks out there to help you, and you need to get help. You need to get out and get some help. So, you know, it's kind of the difference of today, you know, yesterday versus today. And I guess the other thing is even, you know, like you said, the employer took care of you, okay? Nowadays, you're a number. Nobody, you know, they don't care.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Think about how long do you think people stay at an employer?
Well, back in the day?
No, yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, maybe 30, 40
years like my grandmother.
Maybe one job.
Yeah. And now what? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some
I
of
think
the
the
younger
average
folks
is,
today,
what, 5 or 6 different careers now?
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And the younger generation?
Probably more.
Oh, my goodness. every 2 years. They'll fly.
Right.
Their whole perspective on life, retirement, money, it's totally different anyway.
Yeah,
Totally
completely.
different.
So now the responsibility is back on the individual
That's right. Totally.
to take charge of their personal retirement.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Interesting. So let me ask you, let's say people have come from an employer and's got a 401k that might be dormant out there. Can you guys help them with that, too?
Absolutely, and that happens a lot. Matter of fact, what happens to a lot of folks is they come from, maybe it's 10 years ago, and they forget they have it.
Right.
They forget they have it. And you know, there's a thing called provisional income that the government says, look, okay, we let you defer this money, right? Which was kind of cool. We bought into this deferral thing, which is a crime, by the way. It really is. I mean, we bought into this whole thing. I'm not saying it did good, and some certain folks it helped, but here's the thing: the government's going to get their money, but they sold us on that you were going to need less money in retirement.
Yeah.
All right. Bank of America did a study and found out that 76% of folks were spending as much or more in retirement than when they were working.
Hello.
Isn't that interesting?
Hello.
Because every day Saturday.
Wait a minute. Every day. Hey, wait, hold on a second. Are you telling me that the government might have been leading us on?
Well, maybe.
Oh, man, that's unreal. But you know, but there is options for folks. That's what I think is really the empowerment here. The hope is knowing that you have an option. You've got a choice.
Right.
You can take control of your personal pension, right?
Yeah,
but you just got to reach out for a partner.
Well, they're now starting to, which is interesting. You just made that point. Now, all of a sudden, these employer plans, guess what they're putting in the plans? They never had them in there before.
What?
Annuities.
Really?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah, now they're starting to put them in as a choice in there, and they didn't do it before.
Interesting.
So it's kind of, you know, this whole thing is, it's kind of interesting how we've been told, you know, hit with this defer, and really it's costing people just as much money as it did when they were working.
Yes.
Right? So that's a problem. And this thing of provisional income, if you forget about that, right, that annuity,
Yep.
you just forgot it.
Yep.
Guess what the government's penalty is on that?
What?
50%.
Ouch.
50%. So you got to pay 3.5% every year, right, on provisional income, whatever 401ks, whatever, anything in that qualified money bucket.
Plan. Okay.
You got to pay 3.5. But if you miss it,
they penalize
50%.
50%.
So they're serious about getting their money.
Boy, you ain't kidding. They're definitely serious about getting their money. You know, and it's interesting what you're talking about, the concepts of how employers took care of us before and now. It brings to mind 2008 to me. It was interesting when a lot of like public businesses and public companies, for instance, tied to utilities and what have you, they had all these pension plans, and all these pension plans went broke.
They did.
In California, they had a big problem with it all over the place. Now, all of a sudden, to your point, Lynn, they're all starting to say, hey, you know what you can do with your own money? You can take it out and go invest it on your own. They don't want to be responsible for losing that money.
And let me tell you, you won't believe the letters, Paul, that I have, seriously, from clients that we're out of money. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or 50% cut.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's an interesting point that you make here. And here was a daunting tale for me, because I never really had a big understanding about annuity. I'm on the property casualty side. But I had a group of clients, lots of them, and it broke my heart to see the ones that had pensions and things that lost everything.
Yeah,
they had to go back to work at 55, 60, 65 years old, Lynn.
Yeah.
But the group of people, there was a group of people, they weren't worried about it. And I just started asking them questions. I'm like, how come you didn't get impacted? And they kept saying to me, well, Paul, I put a big chunk of my money in annuities.
Right.
It stayed protected.
Yeah.
That's how I really actually came to learn about them.
Right.
And so I got more curious. I started asking more questions.
Right.
Right? Which is what you got to do, ask questions, right?
Ask questions.
Well, listen, we got to take a quick break here, and we got some spots still available. Will you remind everybody what you're offering today, Lynn?
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, if you want to come in and let my partner and I take a look at what you've got, we'll make sure that we take these things that we've been talking about into consideration for you. We'll look at your 401k. We'll look at your IRA. If you have some old ones, we want to get those forward, bring them forward. We'll be able to help you with those things, right? And we're also going to do a plan, like I said, for you. But remember, number one, our number one goal, my partner and I are about, is safety first. We have to get your money safe. You cannot afford a loss in retirement, folks. You just cannot. So our first priority will be to get you safe. We're going to go ahead and get you a plan. We're going to look at your taxes. We're going to look at your Social Security. We're going to look at all of the things that you need, inflation, all of it. We'll be happy to do that for you. And I'll also give you a complimentary copy of one of the 2 books that I've co-authored and collaborated with 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃. This one's Paychecks and Playchecks. And then this one here, of course, is one he did with the PBS special. You can obviously look this up if you want. 𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃. He did a PBS special on this called Don't Worry, Retire Happy. So give me a call at 844-299-0355.
Good stuff. And again, that's complimentary. There's only a few spots left, so please claim your spot. It's up to you to be that difference, to be the change in your future. 844-299-0355. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these messages.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Safety in Retirement. I'm your host today, 𝗵𝗃𝗺𝗺, with my special guest, Mr. Len Strickler. Len, I've really enjoyed you. I mean, believe it or not, we're in our last segment today.
Oh, okay.
You know, time flies when you're having a good time.
It does, doesn't it? Huh?
Yeah, it does, and I really, really enjoy you. I want to ask you some stuff, because you bring it up, you sprinkle it in there every now and then, the concept of taxes. And to me, it's something I think everybody wants to know a little bit more of, because who knows what taxes are going to do. You know, so again, people don't know when they're going to go up, but I think everybody's reserved to the fact that they're probably going to have to.
Right.
What are some of the things that you would like to see people do as far as a tax strategy versus, say, a tax preparation, right?
Well, you know, you said something a little bit earlier. Do we think taxes, we all have this kind of feeling, right? I mean, when you think about it, Paul, we've got a $30 trillion in debt right now, okay? The pandemic just really hit us hard.
Ouch.
And that doesn't include the interest on the debt, by the way.
Right.
We've got, you know, inflation starting to take, all we're doing is printing more money.
Yep.
We just keep printing money. And so I ask folks in my workshops and seminars I do, I said, you know, how many of you would like to totally get off the IRS radar screen? Wow. They raise their hand. Of course, they all do.
I'm in. Pick me, Len.
And there is a concept that we have, deploy with our CPA that's on board with us, 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and it's called zero taxes in retirement. Okay. It's actually on our website, and it's a strategy that we use. And one of the ways that we do that is through Roth conversions.
Okay.
You know, we teach 3 buckets. Okay, one bucket over here is your taxable bucket. This is your bank account where you get your 1099. You know, over here in this bucket,
right.
Over here in this bucket now is that tax-deferred bucket we talked about. Okay, where we've been taught to defer, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, the deferral, we are spending as much as we did in retirement as we did before.
Right.
And so.
And the tax bill comes due.
Right. That's exactly right. And then this third bucket is called the tax-free bucket. Now, the only 2 things that are absolutely tax-free is life insurance, believe it or not, designed the proper way. Not life insurance like death benefit.
Gotcha.
We take life insurance and flip it totally upside down. Okay. And the IRS says there's a corridor that you've got to buy so much insurance, and we typically buy 1-year term insurance each year. And it's because terms less expensive.
Right.
And the rest of that money we'll put into IUL, it's called, Indexed Universal Life.
Got it.
So just like we've been talking about the index inside of these annuities,
Right.
it's inside this life insurance.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, right? The market goes up, you're going to get gains. So the whole concept is to build wealth inside that policy, okay? And when you have to use the money, guess what? It's tax-free.
Right.
So a Roth, anything Roth, a Roth IRA, anything that's Roth is tax-free, right? So when you take the money out, it's totally tax-free. So what we try to do is to make sure we can get as much of that money moved over into that tax-free bucket, right?
Okay.
Now, one of the ways to do that is through what's called Roth Conversions.
Okay.
Now, back in 2000, I think it was 10, you couldn't do that. You could only move so much of that deferred money over to this bucket. Had to be all these qualifiers around it. Okay?
Yes.
But the government got smart, and they said, wait a minute, we need more money in the coffers. Let's let them convert away. But they got to pay the taxes on it.
Right. Got you.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden you can convert as much as you want.
But you
now,
prepay all that tax.
Right. But now, and you say, well, Len, that doesn't sound such a good idea.
Sure.
I got to pay taxes.
Right.
But here's the thing. Taxes are on sale.
Oh.
You see, if you look at a graph, which we show in our classes, in 1960, what was it, 61, 2, somewhere in there, maybe 3, we had a president, President Reagan. He was a movie star.
Yeah.
He only made 2 movies
Right.
a year. After that, he went home to his ranch.
Right.
Because he had to pay 93%, 93, 94, I think, it was up there
That's high.
in taxes. So he said, forget that, I'm just not going to make any more movies.
Right.
So, and you look at any other country, I got a buddy from Finland, and he says, Len, our taxes are 60-some percent, 62%.
Yes.
And so what we want to do is get that money moved over, okay, into that tax-free bucket.
Yep.
And if you have to pay the tax now.
Why it's on sale.
Right.
What a great point. Boy, I got to tell you what, I really enjoyed you. Thank you for being with us
great.
today.
Yeah. Are we done?
We're
It's the
done.
end of
I mean, we're out of time. We could talk forever. But you know what it comes down to? Lynn and his team want you to have that safe, enjoyable retirement. One that's built and customized to you and your needs. Please take him up on his offer. It's a complimentary consultation. All you have to do is take action now. Begin the change immediate in your life. 844-299-0355. Thank you for being with us. Be well and enjoy your retirement.